Man, I like my new theme song. Anyway, hello and welcome to Decorating Pages podcast. I am your host, Kim Wannop, and I have a fantastic episode for you today. Haha. I am talking with production designer Kasra Farahani, and he breaks down the look of Fantastic Four, and we talk about this process of dimensional printed like mosaic wallpaper that I had never really heard of before, and I feel like everybody should be on top of that. The many shades of Fantastic Four blue, and why I ask him, and then we chat about why mid-century didn't stick around and go futuristic, and he really captured such an essence of that. So I love the look of the film. So let's get to that in a minute. Let's talk about how much people enjoyed last week's episode. So thank you. Anyone, if you missed last week's, I released a segment of the new masterclass that I have put out called The Art of Influence. It's going to be a 6-part masterclass. This is only part 1. It is about production design while studying production designers and set decorators. So this first class is on production designer Cedric Gibbons and set decorator Edwin Willis. It includes a breakdown of 13 films. So last week, the free one, and you can still go to the website and download the free segment of The Wizard of Oz and see what the class is about. And then if you want to pick it up, it's there. Use code INFLUENCE50 to get $50 off for being a awesome follower, listener, subscriber. Thank you. And that is for a limited time. But students, as always, put in code STUDENT30 for 30% off, because this is really, it's like a film school I'm trying to put out. A cheaper version of a film school, because, I do talk to people and they ask me, do I need film school? And yeah, you do. Or you need to be a total dork and have a lot of passion. Let's be honest. I don't know. Anyone can work their way up in this business if you have the passion and the drive and the want, and you're willing to separate sour balls like I did, which I don't think people would ask somebody to do anymore, but I did it. But anyway, thank you again for your support on this. And again, it's on the website if you want to check it out. So yeah. Let's talk about what Wannop's watching. I devoured the Apple documentary about Mr. Scorsese. I love Martin Scorsese. I think Goodfellas and Casino is such an influence on me wanting to work in film and TV and be a part of that. I can't even imagine how many times I've seen Goodfellas and Casino, and I know I know almost all the lines of both of them. So, yeah, it was fantastic. It's 5 parts. It breaks down his career, and he is talking all throughout it. And I had also finished his book in the past year by Mary Pat Kelly called Martin Scorsese. That it was a fantastic book too. I just loved hearing about his life, his struggles. He had depression, drug use and relationships, and just how he developed these films. It's a fantastic book, and it's a fantastic series. So bravo to Apple for putting that together. I will have one critique. They're they're interviewing Spielberg and De Palma and DiCaprio, like all of these people, and then there's like these directors on there. The one director I think I knew because he did like Midsummer or something. But there was 2 other people, and it was like director. And I was like, who the fuck is that? It's kind of like it reminded me of like, oh, you're trying to get new blood in here, and we have no idea if these people have the longevity. It's like when they do the duets with like new hot people, like a Lizzo and Aretha Franklin, and you're like, is Lizzo really going to be around as long? Like, is this a duet that needs to be done? It was just kind of weird to throw in. And I swear this one guy is like an actor. I don't even know who's a director. I don't know. I had to look him up. I forgot. But yeah, that's my only critique. Otherwise, 5 parts, hour long each. You can do it. I did it in 2 nights. You can do it. What else am I? I'm still watching those Murdoch murders. I'm still into that. What's that? That's on Hulu. Still getting that. And I finished the season of Only Murders in the Building, which I'm a fan of. I still, all their sets and everything that they do. That casino this season I thought was really nicely done, and all the passageways and everything. I am very bummed to hear that they are moving the show, or part of the season, to London, because I don't really want to hear that anything's moving out of the country at this point. But so that's kind of a bummer. I hope they take the designer and decorator with them. So yeah, I hope that happens for them. But yeah, so that's it. That's all I got going on. I got a lot of stuff. I mean, Halloween. I hope everyone had a great Halloween. We put the time back. It's November. It's been a long week for me. I still could not get that last episode to upload correctly on YouTube. I tried many other times too. That consumed me also this week. I am not tech savvy, people. I can't even believe we got this far. But let's go. Let's get into this episode. So I do geek out on this, so forgive me, because I think the production design of Fantastic Four First Steps is phenomenal. I just love all of it. I love the color palette. I love the full design of it, integrating it with a city, and their reasoning for that. I think he said 60% of it would be, realism, and then we fill in the other 40%. I think that's it's just great. I loved it. I'm not, you hear me all the time, I'm not like a big Marvel person, for it, but this was a good movie. I really enjoyed the film. It is coming out this week streaming, I believe on Hulu. I might be wrong about that, but I think it's Hulu. Yes. So I talk with production designer Kasra Farahani about the visual language of Fantastic Four. We talk about building a parallel 1960s New York, finding the exact balance of period and futurism, and the Baxter building, like that design of that, the lab, the car, fantastic car? I forget. But yes, and don't forget that he is also the designer of Loki, and those designs should not be ignored either. Those are really wonderful sets. So yes, I absolutely just dorked out on this. Had a great time speaking with him. I'm very, very thankful for his time. So let's get to it. I hope you enjoy. Film starts to stream, so we kind of pick up on that a little bit.
That's great.
So let me ask you this: did you go right from Loki to this? Did you have?
I'm trying to remember. No, I had about a year in between where I did commercials. Trying to think what else I did. If I did anything else in between there, I can't remember. I think it may have just been commercials. Yeah.
Yeah. And how much prep did you have for this?
Let's see. I think I started in. Gosh.
I know it gets hard.
I think it may have been like around now, actually, like around now 2 years ago. But we were originally going to be shooting much earlier, and then we pushed um, about a month into it, I think. So it ended up being a little bit better. And then I think we started shooting. God, I'm so terrible at this stuff.
I know. No, because it all blends together.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think we may have shot in April. I feel like it was later than that, actually. I can't remember.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did it feel like enough time?
No,
No.
no, it didn't.
Okay, yeah. No,
I mean,
never
I think
does.
we had some challenges. We had a lot of scheduling challenges because of cast availability.
Mm,
So I think there was enough prep time. The problem was um, that we needed like half or more of our sets, and really all the more complicated ones, we needed them ready in the first
in the first.
month,
Oh,
basically.
wow.
So that was tough.
I'm wondering how much stage space you had for these, because these are giant sets. I mean, I'll get to the building in a second, but like
Sure.
these are fantastic, fantastic sets that are huge.
Yeah, I think we had like 4 stages all the time and about another four for part of the time. And we had two backlots. So we had like the Times Square backlot, which is our larger backlot. And then we had the Yancy Street backlot, which was our smaller one.
Mm,
And then we had a few locations as well.
snugged in there. But I'm sure when you didn't want it. I'm sure you had to prep, dress, and design a location in the middle of like everything else. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it was a little tricky because the locations, the two bigger ones were far. One was a 3-hour drive from
Yeah.
London, and the other was in Spain, so we had to fly.
Well, that's not too bad. I miss Spain.
Mm.
Um, so you're like this sort of retro futurism design that you have here.
Yes.
Was that always the plan, or did you have to sell this?
No, I mean, it was the plan. When I got on the job, we knew that the movie was meant to be set in a kind of a parallel 1960s.
Hmm.
So that that was kind of in the DNA of the story. Um, so the idea was there. We just had to find the precise kind of alchemy of our version of retrofuturism, and what are we keeping, what's purely from the period, and what is the futurism part of retrofuturism.
Right. Um, did you find it uh easy to do that? I mean, because you're creating a whole nother language of design,
Mm.
which is very awesome. I mean, it's super awesome, but in the same sense, it's like, man, we got to do this whole movie and I got to come up with all this.
But that's the fun part. That's the
Yeah,
gift of it,
yeah,
getting to do that. Yeah, I mean, it's stressful because I remember those first couple of months are super stressful because you're trying to crack a language for uh, the Baxter building itself, the Baxter apartment itself, uh, the whole of what New York looks like what is a retrofuturistic world and New York look like. And then on top of that, there's the fantastic car,
yeah.
uh, which has to be designed, and the Excelsior, um, which has to be designed. All of those things, with Reed's Lab, they all have to connect and feel like they were designed by the same hand, because the idea is that Reed Richards is the kind of designer behind
Hmm.
um, the Baxter building, the Baxter Lab, all the technology, like this kind of portal that we're looking at there in front of him,
Hmm.
the Baxter um, apartment, of course, all the interior architecture, but also the fantastic car and the Excelsior.
Yeah.
All of those things have a kind of a through line, and so for me, it was very helpful. I had some very kind of clear architectural references that I was using as a lighthouse um, for architecture and industrial design form language. That was Eric Saarinen work,
Hmm.
um, and of course Oscar Niemeyer's work. Both of those guys, to me, represent uh, a sort of elevated and honed version of the kind of futuristic design language that was
Yeah.
sort of started in the 50s, or maybe even a little bit before, but I think it was like in the 60s that it was refined to this really elegant and much less kind of campy thing, where it was dynamic, super energetic curves and forms, but a lot of restraint in terms of complexity and this kind of zaniness.
Yeah.
Uh, Simple but powerful curves.
Yeah. I mean, I so wish like a design stayed on this track. Do you know what I mean? I wish that
Yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah.
I
So
get
it's
so disappointed in like what the 70s did they just no one what happened? Like
yeah,
you had it. And I so wish residential and the regular vernacular of us had this much taste to it. And I know it's not for everyone, but it's not in abundance as I feel it should be.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I
Yeah.
do feel like it was like a peak, aesthetic peak, and it's not just in architecture and decor, but you look at industrial design, you look at car design, you look at the
Yeah.
scale of like headlights
Oh
and
my God.
taillights
Car
and
design.
door handles, like how much more delicate
Yeah.
everything was. And I know some of this is safety standards and other kind of logistical parameters of the modern era, but of course in fashion as well, like
Yeah.
the I feel like the best suits was definitely from the
Yeah.
60s
Yeah.
still. Yeah.
And and I'd
I've
wish.
got a picture of Marcello Mastroianni on the wall here.
Oh,
I
oh
feel
yeah,
like
but best
yeah,
dressed
like
man.
he he wore it the best maybe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you have fun with like, I can't tell if it is wallpaper. I mean, I know it's supposed to be mosaic back there, but
Mm.
you also did a lot of wallpaper design throughout the.
Yeah, so that is a technique that we kind of invented on Loki actually, and they are mosaics, but they're dimensionally printed mosaics.
Oh wow.
So what I mean by that is that they're designed in vector graphics, like you would design a wallpaper, but the tiles and the grout are separate, and the tiles are all hand colored. By hand, I mean they're not a repeated pattern,
Mm.
because if there was a repeated pattern, it would look fake. So they're kind of each one is calibrated and manipulated by the graphic artist. There's a huge amount of work in building the file, but once you have the file, you basically output these things on what's called a dimensional printer, which is basically a large scale 2D printer that you can stack the pigment on. So after you do that, you end up with something where the tiles are
Yeah.
raised above the grout surface.
Oh wow.
So it's actually like a three-dimensional print. Uh,
That's a
so but it's on a substrate that can take a curve. As you can see, these walls are curved. And then we put in grout, real grout,
Oh
over
wow.
and wipe it off the surfaces of the tiles. So you end up with a very, very realistic mosaic. It's um it's a really, really great effect. On Loki, we actually did these in the time court.
Mm.
We did them on these 3 foot wide and 16-foot long panels. It was like a single. Special ordered 16-foot long MDF and printed directly on it, so there was no seam.
Oh
Uh,
nice.
yeah, it's because you're not limited really by the length on these
Right.
planners. You're limited by the width,
With
but not by the length. So it was fantastic. It really looked like these
but
custom mosaics.
that is such an interesting process to get that effect. How great.
Yeah, it was really cool. It took a lot of R&D to figure it out. We had really smart people working on it. We got there in the end.
How big is your team on this? I mean, I can.
Gosh, on a movie like this, I think there's probably, and it doesn't stay this size. As
No,
you know, it's
no.
like
If
it's small and then it gets big and then it tapers off again.
because we don't have enough money for the graphic designer. That's usually
Yeah,
the statement.
yeah,
You can't keep your graphics person on the whole time, which
that's right.
I'm gonna get to
That's
talk
right.
about graphics, which are so huge in this. But They always tell you, like, "Do you have to have a graphics person on this whole time?" Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, it's true.
yeah.
I guess at our biggest, just in the art department, I would say it was like somewhere between 40 and 50
Well,
people,
that's
I
great.
guess, in the art department. And then set deck was probably around
That's great.
30 or so. And like it's because you spread out. You're
Yeah,
all, especially because, like I was saying earlier, where we needed to deliver the most technical kind of half of our sets in the first month. So the only way you can do that is if you're really heavy on crew during that period.
yeah,
It's not my preferred way to work. I don't think it's anyone's preferred way to work. I'd love to have more time and like not have such fluctuation in the crew size, but like have the same people on for a longer period of time. But you have to scale it to the schedule,
yeah.
as you know.
And, a lot of times too, they'll say, "We'll give you more time to get the perm sets done, and we'll go on location first." But that never helps me.
No, right.
So it doesn't really matter if we start on stage or location first. I always feel like I'm still shy time here, but
Sure, of
yeah.
course.
Um, I
That's right.
I wanted to ask, do you know the name of the color blue that you used everywhere? I mean, this is like
Um,
Fantastic Four blue,
no, I don't
basically.
because it was not a name. It was custom
Custom
mixed.
mix.
We made tens of blues, and then from those we mixed between them as well. So I could dig up a paint number,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a name.
But
But yeah.
because coming up with that affects graphics and wardrobe and I mean so many things that I was wondering about like the discussion of that blue.
Very complicated.
Yeah.
Super complicated because also like there wasn't just one blue. There are a few different blues.
Mm,
You know, the wardrobe has a couple of different blues. Um, the paint in the lab is probably as close as we got to synchronizing
mm,
with wardrobe because it felt like it was a technical color in the way that the wardrobe was technical,
right.
whereas the Fantastic Car is a very different blue, and the blue within the Excelsior is also different. Um, and there's a few different blues within the Baxter apartment, as well.
Yeah.
So,
Which is what you want because you don't want it to be all one tone. You need to play off of it and yeah.
yeah, but definitely we were, I think, very conscious. Alex, the costume designer, and myself and Jess, our DP, we had a lot of conversations early on about color and what made color feel period specific. Um, and 2001 was a big influence for us, certainly in this set we're looking at now,
The lab.
um, where these like bold kind of primaries, but even with the blues there are period feeling blues that have, I think first of all, like refraining from using metallic in a lot of things.
Mm,
And another thing that's very important for me was that these were all in this lab that we're looking at in a lot of places, but especially here, all the paint has to be single stage, meaning there's no clear coat. The clear has to get mixed into the paint because that is how
right.
fiberglass gel coats work, whereas if you're doing a paint color and then you're doing a clear, it doesn't feel the same. It
It's not
feels
going
like
to
an
give you that
automotive paint job.
texture. It's not going to give you that texture that you see this like gloss that you see on the
Yeah, it just
yeah.
won't look like plastic, which is what we wanted these things to all look like. We wanted these things to look like molded plastic. Um, whereas if you do it with a separate clear coat, it'll look like an automotive paint finish. It'll have depth to it, which is lovely, but it's not period correct. Of course, we did that with the Fantastic Car, but not here.
Yeah.
Here we did single stage paints, and we really looked at for a long time. We considered actually doing real gel coat, um, but it seemed like we weren't going to have as much control, so I ended up doing paint finish.
No, the high gloss, especially in the room with such texture on the walls and the ceiling, makes it just pop so much more. It's so beautiful.
Mhm.
So beautiful. Um, did you in your design think about the powers that these characters have? And like I know that because there's scenes where he's like stretching to look for a for a
Yeah.
tool or something. Like, were there special moments that you wanted in here in some of the sets for these characters?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that was really baked into the script. That was a really high priority for Matt, and it was definitely in the script. So, for instance, you can see here actually behind Reed Richards' head, there's like a tool panel that's on a it's on these cables that because overhead there are these two gantry rails basically where things could move from one side of the lab to the other side as he's working on large projects. But we put that in there so that it could be at height out of the way because he could always reach up and
Right.
grab. Um, it's the same with the chalkboards, the width of the chalkboards. You actually see that in the film that
Yeah.
he like doesn't at some point he's writing something and rather than uh, move his body because he's running out of space, his arm just stretches.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, that's so fun. That's so fun to be able to have that thought in your head when designing of like, I can make this not real. I can make this, longer
yeah,
or something for this character.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Um, quite blurry picture, but I wanted to show your
Mhm.
the the ceiling and the wall texture and this
Sure.
ribbing is so gorgeous.
Thank you.
So
That was
gorgeous.
the idea behind this was that it's like he's doing these, cutting edge experiments in this room, and sometimes he's probably using caustic or explosive techniques or chemicals. And so the room wanted to feel like it was like a bunker, like a fortified, absorptive bunker, where if something went wrong, the room could basically contain
Mm,
the damage. Um, and also, it had this kind of secondary uh, effect of feeling a little bit like a cathedral, like a science cathedral or
yeah.
something, which was felt right. Um, and I always we knew very early on that it was going to be white because so many labs that you see. I mean, labs are a very common type of set that you have to deliver on kind of fantasy and science fiction films. And there's a vernacular that you see all too often, which is that they're like dark rooms with a lot of stainless steel and like blue lights.
Yeah.
So it's a very cliche. And so we knew we didn't want to do that. And we also knew that that wouldn't help tell the story of the period or of the kind of specificity of this world. So we found this kind of approach that was like it was going to be a white lab with these three bold kind of concentrations of color. And so when it came to the ceiling, we were trying to figure out how to do it. And plasterers uh, in the UK ended up making the ceilings out of plaster. And the finish on them was so beautiful that instead of painting them, we asked them to burnish plaster in order to make a sample for us. And that burnished plaster was so beautiful that we decided not to paint it because
Oh,
the
that's cute.
burnished plaster has this amazing movement in it where the high spots get burnished more, so they become shinier, and the low spots are burnished less, so they're less shiny, and so there's this movement within.
Yeah.
Uh, it's obviously a big monolithic expanse of white, but there's subtle movement both from the texture, the kind of ribbed texture, and then within that the kind of burnished surface of the plaster.
Yeah, it gives it some the little values in there that
Yeah.
when it's lit or when it's even dark, it has such great texture for lighting to get movement and like feeling out of. It's so gorgeous.
Thanks.
I
Yeah,
love
and
it.
I must admit, also, I've always been so enamored by Aiko Ishioka's um, armor that she designed for Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula movie.
Oh.
That kind of ribbed armor that she designed, and I've always loved that.
Have
I
you
think that
watched that lately? Have you watched that?
It's been a few years. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie. I like went to the theater and saw it. Like I loved it. And
Yeah.
then I recently watched it and I don't love it as much. I was bummed. It's not,
No, I don't remember loving the
I loved
film
it.
as much as I loved the costume
Yeah.
design and
The cost
the armor specifically. Yeah,
yeah, that when he's in that armor in that scene with the blood and everything, it's
it's
fantastic.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. But yeah, I to try it out and see it. It doesn't
Hmm.
but and then you have so many screens, whether it's on this on the ship or in the house or
Hmm.
in the on your back lot.
Yeah.
What was your concept with these screens? To get to
So we designed all these in the art department. We designed style frames, and then we'd sent that to the playback people
mm,
who interpreted the style frames into motion, and then they'd send them back to us for review and approval. Um, but like the idea was to find to create a look that appeared to be the very beginnings of color television
mm,
technology and color computing technology, which is why when you're looking at the computers, you've got like black fields in the background and colored lines, but um, not colored screens, not
right,
uh, white fields with color. So I wanted to feel like, okay, they're past the black and white era, they're past the monochrome era. They're in kind of early technology, or that we could recognize as the beginnings of our modern computing technology. But it's just there.
the concept drawing that I'm showing now, one of your concepts here for the New York streets and have
This is actually a still from the film,
oh, is
but
it? Do I? Oh,
but
I
there is a
this
concept.
one.
This one is a
This
concept.
is one.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
This they're so perfect. I got mixed up.
yeah.
This is the concept drawing, which is so like where you want to be. Like, look at your monorail. You got the one person cars. Like,
Yeah,
why
I know.
can't our world be like this? And it's
I
all
know. It'd
beautifully
be so
designed.
fun.
It's so great. I don't
Yeah, this
understand.
beautiful illustration is done by Joe Studzinski, one of the brilliantly talented illustrators on my team. Um, we have a lot of fun coming up with this, and this reflects what we really wanted for this world, which is that it's not a futuristic world wall to wall. It's two-thirds actually
Mm,
historic. It's about a third of it, the architecture here. That's futuristic, retro-futuristic. And so this was there was actually a second image that went with this, and like these were really helpful
I don't know.
images to find the kind of precise balance
Mm,
of futurism. How much futurism is too much futurism? Because you could lose that idea that you're set in the '60s if
right.
it was too monolithically futuristic.
But the and this concept and in the film of how you made the screens not just digital screens like we have today, but gave them the frame of television. So when you're looking at these giant like TVs in the
Yeah.
sky, it's so imaginative and so like, man, I would stop and watch TV on that. Like I would
It was fun and funny. I mean, I think humor
yeah,
is an important part of this. You have to find the wish fulfillment and the joy and the laughs.
yeah.
Um, I
Yeah, it
think
is
that's an important
funny.
part of the genre.
There's a good amount of funny in the film too, so
Yeah,
that comes through also. Although dark, the this you can see the screens here turned off in part
yeah,
of the thing, and
sure, exactly.
it's still it's so interesting to see everything turned off of how
Mhm.
like life sort of stands still, but you're on a this is your back lot, right? This is
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right. Yeah, exactly.
And so your build goes how
30 feet.
30 feet.
It goes 30 feet. In some places, a little bit higher. Like that, we built that bottommost screen. We built it in its entirety, and it was about 50 feet to the top, I think.
This one?
No, the one in the center. It's in this one. You can't see it's
Oh,
behind.
this.
Yeah, it's over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, But yeah, most places we built to 30.
Wow. And then how far is your depth back?
Um, so basically where your cursor is. Or is that no, that's where my cursor is. You see,
Like
so I'd
here?
say, yeah, like so the set probably stopped
About
about
there.
there.
Yeah. Wow. That's huge. That is a
Yeah.
huge set.
Yeah, it was a big set.
Yeah.
Very big set.
And this prep was like 4 months, 5 months, you said, for builds?
No. I think we started in October, and I believe we started shooting in around, gosh, I think it was April.
Oh, so
No,
it's
it was later than that. I think it was later than that. Um, but I think, we had about 6 months, if I remember correctly.
this is a lot of
Um,
storefronts,
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah,
graphics, a lot of graphics.
it was like 40 storefronts. And then this is just one of the backlots. They also did
Yeah.
the Lower East Side. So yeah, it was
And I have
Jilly Aziz, my decorator, is like a
fantastic.
genius.
Oh my
And
God.
her team is unbelievable. And they're just Jess Esmond and uh, Nathan and Candice, and all these amazing Daisy, these amazing assistant decorators that she has on her team. Each of them was sort of like a lieutenant on one of these big sets, and uh, just the scope of work was so big, and they really brought all the life and layers and
Yeah.
humanity and humor to the sets with that.
Were there any specific notes, like in dressing, like say the bathrooms or the
Mm.
nursery of like, are we, well, the nursery, I'm assuming, I don't know if you could buy that crib, but did you build? I mean, most of the furniture is kind of built in, but
Most of it was Much of it was built,
yeah.
and then much another section of it was purchased and then modified.
Mm-hmm.
So this crib, for instance, was something we purchased and then but the paint job is custom.
Mm.
Um, the mobile was made from scratch. The rugs we designed and printed ourselves. Um, I think that dresser was something that was found or purchased or rented. But you can see on the left, there's a wallpaper
Yeah.
there. That's the wallpaper that we designed for
So
the
cute.
nursery. So that's what's on the wall behind the dresser.
So cute. Design your wallpaper. But yeah, as character design or, layering things,
Hmm.
there is like when you go to the different spaces, you can see like whose space is what. I mean, it's a great sense of layering the characters into built-in furniture even and not being able like it's kind of like they all kind of have the same, but it's different, which is great.
Yeah,
Yeah. And their
yeah,
character, she really built the character.
she really
Yeah.
did. She did
Yeah.
a great job.
Yeah, and the bathrooms I love. Like, "Ugh, why can't we have this?" I don't know. I get so bummed. The spaceship. Now,
Yeah.
I did a season of For All Mankind, so I know about space and I know about buttons and I know
Uh-huh.
about all this. All this is all custom and everything, but um, it's a lot of work for spaceships and
Yeah.
concept
Huge amount of
and
work.
getting it approved and camera angles and they're flying around and everything. She has the baby there. I mean, you guys had a lot going on in this ship.
Yeah. Well, those chairs that you can see, those were all custom designed and built. And building a chair is
Oh, I know.
one of the hardest things you could ever do from an engineering standpoint, an ergonomics standpoint. All those things are so incredibly hard. We really wanted this all to follow this kind of this form language that we've established, and these were inspired by Saarinen again, but also we're looking at Luigi Colani,
Mm,
um, whose work is so out there and interesting in this period. Um, but yeah, I mean, basically, literally everything in there is built
that's all.
from scratch. All of it, and it's designed. This was a tricky ship to design because there's different vernaculars. There's something that like a space shuttle, which has a certain look because it's which is very much like a plane, because it's designed around the function of exiting atmosphere, exiting on orbit, the gravitational pull of a planet. Um, and then there's something like a space station, like the ISS or like the space station in 2001. And that's very different because it's never in gravity. So it has a very different look. And this ship needed to feel at home in both places. And the other way this was sort of very different from something like, I don't know, the Apollo craft or anything like that, or even the ISS space station, is that like those things all look and feel like prototypes, like they're figuring things out.
Right, right.
Um, Whereas this needed to feel like space travel was commonplace for them, that they have done this enough that the industrial design is refined, like in the way it is in a commercial airliner. That they're not like figuring this out anymore. They have figured it out.
Mm.
So all of the surfaces are trim and tucked and beautifully molded because he's done this enough that he knows how many buttons he needs for what thing and where they're going to go exactly.
That is so like logical in this film and makes so much sense because it is true about like the repetitiveness in realism of their buttons and like the Velcro and
Mm,
like all of that stuff that you're
mm,
doing and the tubes and everything
mhm.
that just making it more sleek is one thing, but it's still functional. They're not
Yeah.
just pushing one button to like get up to space. Like you've made it so clear, like we've got it going on here and we have good design. And it looks and it threads in with their apartment. Like I can see like even the little patterns over here or the patterns in the wall a little bit that they're all conducive to each other, which is nice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always
Yeah, like we needed to have the kind of padding and all of those things because they do work in zero G. So they are like bumping around and stuff. So we needed to have those hard corners you can see padded, or those like big blank surfaces on the back wall that are padded. But also you can see these like on these pilasters, these metal pilasters, there are these rails. And there's a little computer
oh,
uh,
yeah.
on each one. Yeah. And the idea with that computer is that it could slide up and down these rails, and also it could spin. So you could use this if you're upside down. If you're standing on the ceiling or whatever, you have access to um, the kind of remote computer that can control all the systems in the ship as well.
Now why can't NASA just take a look at this and make it pretty? We're meeting people up there. We want it to be
I
pretty. We
know.
want it to be
Make it look a little
stylish.
better.
Um, let me get to I think the well this also backlot that you had
Yeah.
and these
Yeah. So
streets and
that's the Yancy Street, right? Yes.
yeah, and
Exactly.
a ton of other street shops and dressing and
Yeah.
period cars and just a wonderful little slice of life that's like in the middle of this movie, which is nice to see. Like regular people, not just focusing on the Fantastic Four the whole time is really great.
Yeah, that was a big part of Yancy Street, is that you can see there is basically no retrofuturism in Yancy Street. Like you look at the at frame left, you can kind of sort of
Yeah,
see a little piece of retrofuturism in the next neighborhood over.
yeah,
But the idea is that Yancy Street is like the way it always was, that it's unaffected by the futurism. It's very traditional.
yeah. Oh, that's great. And the all the period clothes and everything, the
Oh
saturated
yeah.
colors and everything was
Alex's team was
so
amazing. They
great.
did a fantastic job.
You did get this weirdo. I didn't have the other ship in because I didn't want to like
Mhm.
talking about everything, but I loved his, subterranean union space
Yeah.
and like his
Yeah.
weirdo place that he has underground. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
spectacular. I was
That
like,
was really
oh,
fun, and that was a crazy location. It was like massive mine about 3 hours from London. Uh, and it was a huge amount of work. But yeah, it was really fun to do something, there. And the world ship, Galactus's world ship, were very, very different
Yeah.
looks from the rest of the movie. And it was nice to have those departures from the
Yeah.
retrofuturism.
Yeah. Beautiful. I wanted to ask about graphics
Yeah.
and how important, not only that blue, but your design and everything that goes into all of this to, you know, sell this film. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot. I mean, and also your Zillow ad, which is fantastic. I mean,
Yeah.
I watched that like 3 times. I was like, this is such a great idea. This is such a great
Um,
idea for production designers should like make a commercial of your sets or something. That's so great. How did that come
Thank you.
about?
Yeah, that was really lucky to get to do that. That was
Yeah, and you
super fun.
directed it too, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's great. Oh no, it was great, great.
This was really cool for graphics because usually the art department is not involved with marketing graphics at all. But on this, it was very different. Like we designed some graphics very early on. You can see these figures there
Hmm.
that like really struck a chord with people, with Kevin and with the marketing team. And so they really ran with it and they asked us to do type treatments uh, for the actual logo of the film, and we ended up coming up with that.
Oh wow.
And so it was very gratifying to get to see the art department graphics actually get used in the marketing, which I've always thought, like, why don't they do this more often? I feel like we have such an in-depth understanding of the story because we're spending so much time on it. But so in this case, it was great that we got to see that all happen.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they bring a lot of brilliant creativity to it after we're done and extrapolate
Yeah.
from what we did. But it was also like great because there was a ton of like social marketing that they did that they would just like release some of our graphics from the art department.
Oh, that's
Like they finally, you know, they were like, oh, let's look at the art department server, and they found all of our stuff, and they used it as social content, which I think
yeah.
was great.
Yeah, on their Instagram, they've used so many things. And
Yeah,
it is such a weird thing because fonts and everything are so controlled at this point and like
yeah,
even if you I don't know if you have permission to use it or like you make up your graphic designer spends so much time making up his own font or her
yeah,
and like and then why not use it throughout, why not
yeah,
have that common thread throughout the marketing, and especially with this it just works so well. It's everything's so conducive, like plays with each other and plays off of each other. It's
yeah. Thank you. We were really excited the way it went.
yeah. How was the Zillow commercial? Was that how long did you do?
Oh, it was so fun. Well, that was just a 1 day shoot. It was
Oh,
just a
nice.
single day. But no, it was great working with Marvel's kind of marketing creative team is a joy. I've done a bunch of stuff with them. Uh, my pals Evan and Andy over there. We've done a bunch of stuff for Loki, and we also did another one for this. We did a Little Caesars ad for Fantastic Four as well. And it's a joy. It's really fun to get to do that and build out the world a little bit more, even in through the marketing.
Yeah. Are you, because I have this discussion a lot with designers about being present during post.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a lot of like spaceships and things and everything. I can get back to that picture,
Yeah.
but um how
Yeah, we're not
how
on during post,
I know.
usually. I wish we were on more. We were on a little bit. They did this time, they did carve out a little bit of time for me. But what I usually do is I just before production wraps, I try to design everything. I try to design all the stuff that's going to be post as well in the illustration. So I keep the illustrators on longer to try to really provide a style guide for everything that's to come. Um, But Matt, our director, and Scott, our VFX soup, were like super respectful and constantly checking in with me, asking my opinion about stuff. And I think that I'm very happy with the degree on this film, the degree to which the visual effects feels part and parcel of the designed world and doesn't feel like a whole different thing or doesn't feel like a kind of generic cliche thing. It feels
Right.
really beautiful
Yeah.
and part of the world. And I credit Scott and his fantastic team for that.
Yeah, I don't understand how it's not just mandatory that a designer would stay on, even though you're not going to work every single day, but you're going to be
Yeah.
consulted, and you should stay on for this as part of the look.
Yeah.
It's part of your baby.
Yeah.
So it's so weird that, I mean, even as you get cut off, you're done. You're out. You don't even get
Yeah.
production designers don't even get wrap days usually. Like,
I know.
usually like out. Get out.
It's true.
I do love the scenes when there's the fantastic science with Mr. Fantastic, and such a fun, and the wallpaper's fantastic, and I mean everything.
That was fun to do.
Yeah, to like get the kids in there, and those shows that, I mean, like Mr. Wizard and everything, and like I used to watch, like
Yeah.
getting kids excited about science. It's so great to have.
Yeah.
It's so fun. I just want to say thank you. I have like a million other questions, but I'm dorking out too much with you. So
No worries. This was really fun.
Good.
Thank you.
I just loved the look of it. I wish I could live there. I wish I could decorate there. I just wish we had that sense of design in our world. It's just beautiful. You created such a beautiful world for them. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you to say. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So great meeting you. I hope to
Yeah.
see you. I think I'll be at the 80th.
See, now, wasn't that fantastic? Wasn't that just great to hear all of those details about those sets and how it came about, and the color palette and that wallpaper, and the lab. I mean, to me, the lab is just magnificent, and all the intricacies of working with costumes and graphics and digitally, and of how the spaceship and how that gets taken into the digital visual effects of the movie. There's so many things in production design, and on these huge films, it's such a tremendous undertaking. So bravo! I just think it was a really, really beautiful display of production design on the screen. So thank you to Kasra and for your time, and check it out. It's streaming. It's a good one. I enjoyed it. I did. I've said that before, but I say it again. I say it all the time. You can watch this on YouTube. You can watch everything that we talked about. You can look up his sets, even if you just skim it, just to see exactly what we're talking about. Just take the time to look at it. And also, I'm sure this will be coming up for Art Directors Guild and even Oscars. These sets are just fantastic. What else? Who do I have next week? Next week, who's we? It's just me here. I have production designer Erin McGill and set decorator Melissa Litch for the film On Swift Horses. Little film they did, and I know both of them, so it was a pleasure to speak with them. And then coming up, I have the production designer Shane Fox and set decorator Erica Laboco for Overcompensating. And then that brings us all the way to Thanksgiving already, and my salute to prop houses, you will see. So yes, look forward to that. If you are interested in a quick Decorator quick reference template, please check out decoratingpagespodcast.com. Sign up for the newsletter and you will get it free. And also I have the master classes on there. So I hope you got an earful. I'm exhausted. I'm Kim Wannop for Decorating Pages.